Hello guys and welcome back. And today I'm going to introduce you to Daniel Nilsson. And Daniel is the co-founder of NuLink. And today we're going to talk all about NuLink. But before we can do that, we have to introduce him, of course. So maybe it's a better plan that Daniel introduces himself. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you
And
so much.
first of all, tell us, who are you?
That's a good question. So that I ask myself every 6 months. No, I'm just kidding. No, I love to build companies and I love to build products and services. And from a historical perspective, I actually worked 10 years in IT security. So I joined the founders of this company, and it was an insane journey. We bought we bought 5 companies. We almost went bankrupt with 15 minutes, a little bit of time. We introduced the company to the stock market. I traveled all over the world. In the end, when I left, it was after 9 years. So then we had a 68 employees bought by a big American company. So super nice in the end, but it was a lot of work to get there. A lot of work. But then after that, I joined other startups. I was in medtech. I've been to value-added services. And then after a while, it's like, why am I building everybody else's dream? I should build my own stuff.
So where it all started, because it's a different world, I guess, than you have used to be in, like the cryptocurrencies and blockchain world, where it all started for you.
Yeah, so that's actually funny. I heard about it and stuff like that. I was not so introduced to it, but I do love technology and all these things. So it's kind of like going to be a long story, but one of the co-founders and my partner, his name is Noel Braganza. So he's like pretty cool guy. He's originally from India. He could be a singer. He was actually like doing text and stuff like that. And it's like, no, I'm going to be a designer. So he moves to Milan, of all places on the planet, studied there. And then he's recruited by MIT. Design lab in Boston. I mean, the first job, right? It's just
first job.
Yeah, exactly. My first job was not so good. Anyway, so he, but then when he was there, he was recruited by a company called the Techno Creatives. And when he's working with Techno Creatives, this guy who's the other NuLink co-founder, David, come to him with another project. And he's like, dude, I want to build like autonomous wheelchairs and park benches and stuff. And he's like, okay. And they worked together and they designed this entire concept, which is insanely cool. And it's actually running today in China. And it's like, you just jump in, you pay with it. It's like going away, can do all these kind of things. But David had to leave that company because, COVID and things happened. He couldn't travel to China anymore. And he was looking for a new project. And his old childhood friend is our CTO for NuLink. And it's like, I have this idea, we should do something together. And then we sat down and talking, and David introduced us and all this stuff. And then NuLink was founded, focusing on all these specific problems that is existing in the world for privacy and security. So that's kind of like how I was introduced. And I'm like, crypto what?
Crypto, yes.
So I had to read up on everything and try to understand all this stuff. And it's been so exciting. I learned so much. It's amazing. I mean, I'm a more practical guy, I think. So I guess I come with that perspective of everything, but of course, very techy at the same time. So yeah, I mean, depends on how you see it. But
all right. So you're not really how can I say it? It's all a bit new for you as well, crypto. Exactly. So can I ask a personal question? When you got introduced by the other team founders, which crypto did they shield to you or something?
Which crypto what? In shield?
Did they shield to you like Daniel? You have to buy this or you have to look into this.
Oh yeah, they may have bought. So I decided that I will only invest in things like an effect. So I invest in things that have a connection to NuLink, where I know that we will actually increase usage of these specific services or coins or whatever it may be. So that's what I choose to invest a little bit in. I think that is like, I know like I'm a hard worker. I fix things. I get shit done, literally. Hope that was offensive. So I thought that is what I'm going to invest in. So anything that you see connected to NuLink is what I simply invest in, nothing else.
Okay, and we will come back at that later. First of all, I can see you have pretty much hair still left. So
yes,
I mean, it's all disappeared. So I'm invested for more than 5 years, so this is what's going to happen. So so amazing. So basically, the team, the co-founders, and all, found each other on a very nice way.
Yeah.
But then you choose to be you choose all together to build a project what's going to focus on encryption and the security part of the blockchain data aspect. So first of all, how important is encryption or that kind of service that you are going to deliver for this industry right now?
I think it's, I mean, from my perspective, it's super important. So when I worked for this previous company called Cryptzone, and today it's actually called Appgate, I mean, security exists everywhere because we need it so much for different kind of applications. Of course, at levels, we can talk about that. I can talk about this for 1 hour, so we have to be careful here, but it's very important. So in some cases, we need kind of a security encryption or privacy to, protect things. For example, your private pictures with your spouse or partner, whatever it may be. You don't want to like show it to the world. You want there's some privacy, but at the same time, it's not like a catastrophe if a picture comes out. You publish some of them on Facebook. Only the pretty ones, of course, where you
only the pretty ones and the edited ones.
Yeah, the edited and pretty one. So that's like one level. Like there needs to be security, but it doesn't have to be so like secure. But then, for example, we have let's imagine you're a psychologist and you are meeting all these kids. They have been out for trauma and like very problematic things, and you need to make notes and you need to save these notes somewhere. So you maybe use some system or computer and data and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And in those cases, security is extremely important. And it is not, I mean, there is no value for humanity that it should be open in any way or form. It needs to be super protected because, somebody could get very sad or they could be threatened or things can happen. So simply when it comes to data and security, if we want actually, blockchain and everything to be really used, we need to implement it to ensure that it can be having as many use cases as possible. Because a lot of big companies that handle sensitive data are looking for, of course, alternatives to how they can do things. Yeah. So I would claim it's super important in my world, but I'm a little bit biased, so maybe you can't,
Yeah, no, well, we all know eventually now that blockchain data is just transparent. Yeah. It's just as transparent as it can get. And it's a big plus, of course, but also, like you said, someday stuff will be built on the blockchain and it's more sensitive for being public. So give us a short introduction about NuLink, how they're going to facilitate the encryption service for those who need it and how it a little bit works.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea of NuLink, there are some kind of important base things. First of all, security and encryption and privacy is difficult. Imagine that you have a startup and you want to have it. Like, where do you even start? And you have to hire an expert, and that expert is going to be super expensive. Like, there's a lot of problems. And it's funny, those problems that existed with security back in 2001, when 2003, when I joined Cryptzone, they exist still today. It's called big data breaches, 150,000 credit cards, like all these problems are still there today. So when it comes to this, really what we want to offer is an API that you as a founder of some decentralized apps or similar can simply plug into your product, and you get access to the most modern, the most brilliant, the most smartest tech available. It's open sourced, so anybody can check it and control that it works. It is, opened, so that's very nice. You can actually implement this kind of security into your product. And we have made sure everything works, is connected, and it's like one single package with everything in it. Encryption keys, the encryption itself, how to handle it, how to kind of handle the privacy settings and everything else. That's the core ID. And if you're very technical, of course, on our webpage, there's the white paper and there's diagrams and everything else. But this is the base ID, simply to enable hundreds or thousands of different type of organizations, companies, whatever it may be, to implement this kind of security.
Okay, very nice. And in my opinion, there's definitely a need for that on this moment. The industry is getting major by day. And yeah, it's one of the aspects missing indeed. So we saw that you already have close ties with NuCypher, and we are already familiar with NuCypher. Tell us about that. Tell us about the involvement of NuCypher in NuLink. If you can.
Yeah. It's no secrets. It's like, so what happened is we actually, like in the beginning, you know, we're talking and we applied for this kind of to get funding and things like that. And you do that publicly, and NuCypher found our application for the Web3 Foundation. And they're like, guys, you know, don't develop that part yourself. We use our stuff instead. And that's kind of how it started. And then we kind of like, yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea. You don't have to build the entire world. You know, there's like one part what we want to build, somebody else have already built. So like, yeah, that totally makes sense actually. And it would increase kind of the value of the service that we would provide much more, like, because they solve thousands of problems that we would otherwise have to solve. So we started to collaborate, and today our collaboration is very deep because we have calls and chats every day between engineering teams and things like that. And the founder, McLean, he also is an investor into NuLink, so that's like obviously extra fun. So I think that's kind of super nice. And their approach, I mean, we like them a little bit different. They are more into those encryption keys and kind of how to handle that and the security around that. But I mean, it's not easy to use it. Like, it's not that you like, it's not plug and play. I can tell you that. We want to do we want to do the plug and play. We want to enable multiple technologies, multiple kind of blockchains, multiple everything. So the person that are using our technology is more plug and play, and they can pick what they need for their specific project. If you want to have central storage of your data, have central storage. It's not a problem. Or maybe you want decentralized storage. You can have decentralized storage. So we will simply offer a wider package where NuCypher, they want to focus on their keys and what they do best. So especially, I would say.
Amazing, amazing. So like NuCypher has, I see NuLink has a token as well. So if I'm going to imagine your products, which you have told me right now, where does the token, the NuLink token, comes in? And what will be its role? Yeah,
exactly. So we need to look into detail here when it comes to this. So there are multiple things that we will use this token for. So it's going to be called NLK, and I think there's like a total of 1 billion of them. So don't stress out. There's plenty of them.
There's plenty of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm just joking. Sorry. It's funny. So there are like kind of a bunch of use cases where it will be used. So number one is going to be used as a staking collateral for different kinds of providers. So we're building this entire package, and these providers, they can be proxies, watchers, computing providers, storage providers.
Nice.
Sorry.
No, it's very nice. Go on.
So the providers need to stake the NLKs in the NuLink network to provide services and obtain these kind of benefits. And meanwhile, they will bear the risk of NLK slashing in case of like penalty and all that stuff. So it's kind of like a nice design. So that's like the first one. The second one, they're going to be used as staking benefits for different kinds of providers where they provide proper services in the NuLink network. So they will be rewarded with NFTs in that case. And the third one is they're going to use as the NuLink network services fees. So users in NuLink who wants to use the service, like secure data storage, secure data sharing, and all this other stuff, we need to pay fees to the corresponding providers. And then it's going to be used in the election and voting of the on-chain governance mechanism in the DAO. So these are kind of like the 4 core things at the moment. And things can change, of course. We are constantly developing, improving, and fixing, but this is the base at the moment. And
amazing. You basically blew me away by this, because the first thing I was thinking about is like the purposes of the Chainlink token. The first part of your utility is almost identical, and that's really nice, because the most time I think like, why is the token necessary? But this one blews me away actually, because you have to use it on 4 different levels. And when you talk about providing storage, for example, I saw that one also already, but this is like full package now. So the NuLink token is a very important key to to work with NuLink or to use NuLink stuff. So now I'm a bit more enthusiastic. I'm just going to ask you, like, how does the roadmap looks from now on? Because we're in December 2021. Yeah, I'm very enthusiastic myself. So now I just want to hear from you, like, how will this journey goes on? What's next?
So I always check because we have like check-ins. So we are on time, thank God. As you know, with technology development, anything can happen. So the first thing we did is actually to start to build. So I said something like we applied and we won this like Web3 Foundation thing. So that's the first thing we have to deliver, and it has been delivered. So we have proven our ability to do things, and that was actually a Polkadot palette and launched in Polkadot Watcher node. So that was like the first thing we're gonna done. So it's done, delivered, fixed, all that stuff, and that was now in this. We are like Q4 2021, so that's right now. Then we have Q2 in 2022. That's the next big release, and that's the core library version 1. Okay, and that's going to be deployed on kind of like the watch network, the fully support PRE, the APIs will be released, and those will be released on the test network. So we're going to start then to kind of, make sure everything works. We're going to then continue 2 more quarters, and then on quarter 4, so in 1 year, we will then release version 2 of this library, and then it's going to be actually on the full network. So that's going to be super, super nice. And then after that, we're going to do additional releases. So we're going to do one in Q2 2023 and one Q4 2024. So full speed. And these are kind of like the highlights now. So I'm work with other things, who knows? So we are, so these are kind of the main roadmap. We are working on other things, of course, and things will change. So we are looking into kind of like, how can we make the market more excited? We are product people, so we have our own designers, developers,
everything in house.
The gray-haired guy. So we are looking into like, how can we make the market excited by creating our own products or example products or designs. So that's what we do a lot when we are looking into like, how do we do this forward. And we're having a lot of discussions with different real companies that how can they actually start to use this.
Very important as well. Yes. Okay. I dug a little bit deeper into your partners already. Now we discussed NuCypher, but I see a lot of backers for your projects, including us. But I also saw some familiar faces like Vicent Ventures, for example, and CSP DAO. Can you tell us a bit more about the partners on the background or the people who work with NuLink currently?
I mean, it's like I'm a little bit shocked at myself, actually. I was thinking like maybe I can show a picture because it's like I'm talking and it's nice to see our faces, I guess. But here's like investors and the backing and stuff like that. Look at all these like cute people. I think it's like an amazing collection, and I'm a little bit shocked myself since I've never been into this field, so I don't know these names. I think that we are very passionate people, and I think that have been coming through, I guess. And this passion is like seen, and it's like very experienced team. We love to create products and services and all this stuff. And I think that's why all these backers have chosen to join this. And we are getting a lot of help and advice, which is amazing from the community. And the community itself is also, by the way, growing like crazy. And like
also awesome people. It's like you feel already that energy there, you know?
It's because I don't know, like you who are listening to this, but if you have built a company before, like you are alone. Like it's like you sitting in your office and like sending emails, nobody replies, like you feel hate. Like I'm here, like suddenly you have some kind of cheering, like go.
That's the very awesome part of cryptocurrencies and blockchain in general, because you have like a worldwide community, and they're always there. No matter when you join in, when you come online, there's always a big party going on everywhere.
You know? I mean, it's so nice, and you get a lot of extra energy, I must say, to come up with new ideas, and people help you to find collaboration. So some of people in the community have introduced us to different type of organizations or companies or that do super interesting things. I was introduced to this organization or this company that do like genetic information and storing of genetic data, and that's so interesting because that's exactly the same problem. It have to be stored secured, it have to be nice, it have to be tracking. I mean, have to have all these things. Super valuable. We have different type of companies that maybe use this for Visa card information, for example. You can actually use this technology to store that safe. And there's a lot of companies in the world that use Visa card information. And we're also looking into cars. So there's actually a big security problem with cars. So when you're
can imagine.
When you're driving, and let's say you crash the car, there is data in the car that needs to be sent to the insurance company. So you don't think about it, but that data should be secured, because otherwise people could see, where you are and where you're driving and what have happened and all these things. It's like private information. So, I mean, so many interesting, exciting use cases for this, and the community and all these backers and everybody helping. I think it's amazing. It's so much more fun.
Okay, now I'm just going to forward a little bit more. The community, they're waiting for their ability to get involved as well, to buy the NLK token themselves. Is there already a roadmap for that?
Nothing is decided, so I don't dare to say anything. Of course, there are some concepts here, so but it's very early on. So releases and stuff like that is next year of when it's there, but there's no date set or anything like that. But we do have about 20% of the tokens is reserved for all kinds of community incentives, activities, and all that stuff. And my suggestion is that you can join like Twitter, LinkedIn, Telegram, Discord, whatever channel you want.
Everyone.
Yeah, and we constantly release news. And like just like these days, we released the white paper. We have some new concepts that we're releasing. We have released constantly updates there. So just go there and you will like be able to follow and see what's going on. And later will come some stuff. Who knows?
Okay. Yeah, really amazing. So I guess we have to schedule a second interview by next year.
Yes, please.
When there's something new to mention, of course, especially for the community. So but next year it's like 1 month away.
Yeah, that's what it could be in a month. Who knows what's happening here? But
really amazing.
It's super fun.
Just do you have anything to add? Did I forgot something to mention? Do you have something special to share with us already?
I think, I mean, a lot of people ask kind of more detailed use cases, but I got a question. I could actually show that. I'm showing my screen right now, aren't I? Let's do, because a lot of people ask, and I think it's fun to discuss use cases because that's kind of interesting. You could go to the web page and you can see a little video I recorded because people ask me, but okay. So I worked a decade in IT security. So I've been to all these Gartner conferences, and Gartner is this big, like, where everybody talked about security and how it works. And you can discuss detail with me about all this stuff. But what we see kind of like a super interesting use case immediately that we already started to work on is like NFT security and encryption and all this stuff. And how would that be used? Like, why is it valuable? Like, why should anybody care? Well, the first thing that we need to solve is called Nfc Private Auctions. So NFTs are totally open. I mean, it's great. I mean, I think it's like super nice and amazing. At the same time, like, it's not so amazing because if you're an artist, and you created your following, it's like so nice and everything here, but you can never like really give something to the community in an easy way. And what we want to create is something called NFT Private Auction. So if you are a real artist, like in the physical world, you would actually have, a little place and you hang up your paintings and you only invite the people that are like being supporting you. And you say like, you know what, for you guys that been with me from start, I'm going to do a special. You're going to get these paintings here for a special price. And they're like super happy and they drink champagne and, it's a nice event. So we need to create the same thing for NFTs. So private auctions is the idea that you can actually set up in any NFT trading market. They use our technology, plug it in, build private auctions, and the artist then can upload art. It's going to be encrypted, nobody can see it, or take it. And then you say only people that have bought my art will be able to join this unique special private auction, so they can set rules for how things works. Which is amazing.
Yeah, that's really missing currently. Yes,
exactly. Like, I mean, we want to have fun and do things together, and it should be incentives, and we should give back to the people that backed us. That's what I'm always kind of thinking about everything. Like, don't be a cheap goat. Like, always give back to everybody who was there with you in the beginning, because that's what we're really fighting. So that's one. And then we have private collections. I think that's super interesting, because you go and buy pieces of art, and that's nice. Like, you kind of own them, but anybody can copy them. I mean, it's just like the most strange thing ever. So the idea here is that with a private collection, you can actually go in and you then bought some art, or maybe upload some stuff, and you can choose to move them into your private collection. And when they're there, they're encrypted and automatically secured.
Yeah, so because it's not always a good thing that people know basically your whole collection,
Exactly. I mean, it could be very interesting for some organizations to look at your collection and what it's worth and all this other stuff. So no, I think it's interesting from other parts. I mean, it's like, just because you bought some art, maybe you want to collect it for you. I mean, if you would buy an art out in town and you bring it home, you open the door by the key and you lock the door with a key, and it's your piece of art. You look at it and you decide when your friends are going to come over and look at it, and if they're allowed to take a photo or not. And we need to kind of, I think, like, if we want this world to develop and grow and become smarter and better, we really need to implement more concepts that actually exist with other, similar markets today, to make sure that we lift it up to that next level and really, really, make the entire market work. So that's why I think, like, encryption don't always have to be like the biggest secrets on the planet. It could be simple things like this, where we simply just want to control who, when, where should see something.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in times like this, people are, just throwing around their sensitive data for their own, pleasure. Like we mentioned already, social media and stuff. We're getting a little bit too used to throw everything out there, but now you can basically select whatever you want to throw out there, but especially what's absolutely not. Exactly. And I think there's a really need for that. It was always there, but I think in these days people are more aware of that need. It's growing.
Exactly. And I think the most interesting here is actually like normal. I mean, most people wouldn't think about what I said, but I actually said, well, you set a policy actually. You say, for private auction, the policy will be that if this individual owns a piece of art created by this specific artist, they're allowed to participate. They don't need a password. No, it's policy-based encryption keys. And that is super exciting because it opened up new ways where we can look into how this could really work well and better. Yeah. Because today, if I'm going to share a file with you that is encrypted, like I have to give you a password, huh? So I will call you and like, hey, this is my little, this is a password that you need, you know? And that's the thing. We need to simplify security. We need to make it smoother, nicer, easier. And that's really the kind of like secret, if you look into security in behind NuLink. There's like all these new kind of ways to handle security. Everything from traceability, if somebody have opened something, to be able to actually give away a key without de-encrypting and re-encrypting something, and like tons of other things that are amazing, like mind-blowingly better. Yes.
I really can't wait for you to show me more. So I definitely come back at you next year. I'm definitely going to ask about all of it next year, because this is really exciting. So can you mention once again where the followers of us and the people who are watching can see the stuff you are building, where you're going to put the announcements, where you're going to share your work with the audience?
Yeah, I think like just go to nulink.org. You can even Google NuLink now. I think it's pretty high on the because it's a new company, a new organization. So it's like, but you can just go to nulink.org, and if you go there, you can just scroll down, and you will have all the different ways that you can follow, and you can choose your favorite way, whatever that may be. So if you love Twitter, use Twitter. If you love Telegram or GitHub or a traditional newsletter we even have. So whatever way you prefer, you can go there. So nulink.org and go there and yeah. But I think Discord is most fine. That's what I would recommend, to be honest. Yeah.
I'm personally not that active on Discord, but I know the most of us are. You know, Discord is like even better than Telegram. I still have to adopt it myself, but hey, I'm just hearing whatever I hear around me, and Discord is amazing. And Telegram is a good tool as well. Like you said, Twitter, we're working a lot with Twitter as well, because we have to reach the masses. And also a newsletter, Reddit, it's all there. We are going to post every link under this video. And Daniel is going to promise us now that this will be continued next year.
Yes, of course. It's no problem.
Thank you very much. Well, we're going to wish you the best of luck in this phase. Also, we want to wish you very nice holidays as well, and have a blaster in 2022. Thank you for your time, and let's see each other again next year.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Super, super nice.
So I'm going to end the recording now. It went